So we got Valerie Corral from Santa Cruz, California, the co-founder and director of the Women's Alliance for Medical Marijuana, which was the only federally legal garden, medical cannabis garden in the country, outside of the federal supply since in history, since the laws got prohibited. Yeah. So next we have Mr. Philippe Lucas, your lovable, ever amazing Hempfest super moderator, who has a triple life. As not only is he the co-founder and director of the Vancouver Island Compassion Society in Victoria, but also a graduate student at the University of British Columbia studying medical cannabis in the social science program there, and recently won an award for that. So he's with us to put on another hat. Next to him is Mr. Martinez, the co-founder and director of Lifevine Clinic, which was in my neighborhood for some time, their patient network group, but unfortunately due to some recent raids and fallout had to get kicked around. But this gentleman doesn't get kicked around because he was one of the first patients to run an affirmative defense for his use of cannabis, and has helped many patients and runs a website, cannabismd.net. And great glasses, as Valerie says. Next to Martin is Mr. Jeremy Miller from Olympia, Washington, and he has recently founded an educational office in Olympia to educate patients about Washington State's medical cannabis law, and runs a voluntary registry system, or a card issuing system, if I got that right. Yeah. I just met him today, so unfortunately I can't give him full justice, but we'll see her more later. Next to him is Mr. Sean Willy. He is a patient advocate. First time I met him at a marijuana policy review panel meeting, he gave me a card that said, "Arrest the pain, not the patients." And I realized, wow, this guy's onto something. And he's educated a lot of individuals on proper horticultural techniques, and has been out there educating the public about the medical uses of cannabis and how patients have to survive in these conditions. And next to him is Mr. Dale Rogers, who we heard on the panel a couple of times ago, 2 panels ago, who was the founder and director of Compassion in Action, a patient advocacy group and a group that helps patients receive medicine. Has been involved in this work for ever before there was any laws giving it validity. So welcome our panelists, and I think the best way to do this is to give each person down the row a few minutes to share their thoughts on patients out of patients. So maybe four minutes each. Yeah.
I'm short. I'm going to stand up, and so I can see over this sign. Comes out. First of all, talking about everybody here, I don't have to really talk about the benefits of marijuana because I suspect that just about everyone in this audience knows. And I'll just briefly, we won recently the San Diego case where the county decided not to enact, in California, not to enact the county ID system. Santa Cruz is the only system whereby there's complete anonymity, and how we did that is instead of assigning names and keeping a record of names which are promised to be hidden from the federal government, because we know you can't even hide WMDs from the federal government. Well, I guess you can hide those, especially if you don't have them, but you can find people, you can find patients. So we've done a numerical system. We have a lawsuit going forward, 10th Amendment lawsuit, on winding its way again to the Supreme Court. We've been in court since 2006. The last arrest that Mike Corral, agricultural genius, if I may say, so, and I had brought forth with our city and our county against the federal government when the DEA raided us in 2002. We're still growing pot. We haven't missed a medical marijuana meeting where we give away medicine. We don't sell it, we give it away. It's a very socialist concept, and not unknown to the organizers and volunteers of Hempfest. I think instead of talking about marijuana, I want to talk about social revolution, change and consciousness, and then practice for the moment of death, because we work with people who are dying. So you can close your ears or practice, whatever you guys like to do around that subject. I'm really touched, deeply moved, and I find what's happening here to be extraordinary. What's amazing about what's going on here is the creation of a village where people of like mind are coming together, but working together selflessly and with generosity, and creating in just a few days a whole village, a place for us to come, to be safe, to talk, to express our views, to exchange our ideas, and to be, in the collective sense, promoting something that not only we perhaps believe in, but we have proof, anecdotal, mind you, but there's plenty of science that backs up exactly what we're speaking of. In Santa Cruz, what we find so remarkable is how people work together, and our organization, the whole thing really, it sounds perhaps ludicrous, but it's not about marijuana, really. It's not really about marijuana. It's about an opportunity for us to live as free Americans, to live in a world that we've created and our ancestors created, albeit there were a lot of white men making rules that kept them free and weren't exactly fair to Native Americans and to slaves. But the idea, and something that we've reached for, is that sense of humanity, where we care for one another. If everybody is taking care of somebody else, everybody's taken care of. And our organization, what we do, we meet weekly. We don't have a lot of money, albeit we're probably the only people you ever met that can't make money off of pot. But it's not really about that. It's 4 minutes, you two? Okay. There's a group of us who can. The idea of what we're reaching for is really for social change. And I want to just state something simply. In the revolution, in my opinion, selling pot's like selling guns. What is important for us to do is to reduce the money aspect. Pay your bills. I'm not saying don't pay your bills, but change the concept, change the way that we speak to the people around us who say what we're doing is for money. The reason I say that, there's plenty of time to make money off of it, but what I'm trying to present here to us, to the people, is that the way to change, the way I think that we can change the paradigm, is by actually doing that. Our adversaries would say that all we're trying to do is make money. They're discrediting the true value, the incredible value of marijuana that it has in relieving so many symptoms, in even healing people, reducing suffering while folks are facing death. Now I'm going to tell you can I tell you one quick? I got a minute. I want to just tell you a really quick anecdote. Our members come to us from all over the area, and some of them are kids. One of our members who died recently, within the last 6 months, it was a little gangster. His tag was Doodah, and he came to Wham and came from the streets with about 6 of his friends and scared some of our members because, he was tatted out. He turned out to do some amazing poetry and some rap, and he did it for our group. And what he talked about was facing death. 200 of our members have died in 15 years. We offer a lot of things, not just pot, but soulless community. And what he said was, as a 19-year-old facing death on the street, that he hadn't really learned what it was to look death in the face, what it meant to do a dance and to engage in death. But at 19, as he looked at the possibility of dying, which he did some months later, he saw that when he looked into the face of death, he saw the faces of everybody that he challenged in his life. And he saw the greatest challenge, which was to face death and to find peace. And if you can walk with that message from a master at 19 years old, to walk with that message that really what we're trying to achieve here in this revolution is not what we can carry home in a suitcase, but what we carry inside of ourselves. That's what changes even the government, what changes the DEA, what changes the governor of this fabulous state that we live in, what changes everybody is looking at ourselves, carrying that message of truth to other people. Sorry I talked too long, I do that. Apologize. Okay. Anyway, check it out. Thanks.
Thank you, Val.